All right, man, we back. Another edition of Detroit Piston One on One. You can check the Piston One on One playlist for more of these Piston live streams. This is our third episode. I do appreciate everybody for checking in. Today we will be talking about the Detroit Pistons search for a general manager and 2020 value NBA free agents, free agents that may not be top tier, but you may get your bang for your buck for them. So appreciate everybody that will watch the replay, who will watch live. Don't forget you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All those social media links are in every description, every video I do. So you can always check in the description if you need to reach out. If you got a business question, call, response, video requests, keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support from everybody. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal. The best way to donate is just to share the video. And don't forget, check my other channel out, Goodfellas Sports TV, right here on YouTube, man. So it's Goodfellas Sports TV right here on YouTube for more sports, music, news, entertainment, and everything under the sun. But yeah, the general manager search for the Pistons is on. Obviously, it's a little difficult. What's going on in the world? It's hard to ignore. It's a lot of protesting, a lot of looting, a lot of rioting, a lot of anger, a lot of hatred, and a lot of that got to do with, obviously the majority of it has to do with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, Tayshaun Reed in Indianapolis, Ahmaud Arbery. The list can go on and on. It just seemed like the murder of, you know, the injustice murders of blacks have pretty much, taken and beat Corona. Like Corona is something that's been pushed to the back. So a lot of this is manifesting into something that's very, very dangerous. But also, what's also fueling this fire is people unemployed. They freezing unemployment. They talk about taking unemployment, the enhanced benefits away. A lot of people are angry. A lot of people are hurt. And a lot of people are shit poor. Don't know where their next meal gonna come from until their job come back. So it's a bad time for this to be happening because people are bored and being in the house, and they just trying to get out the house. So everybody that's out there protesting, be safe. You looting, stop it. Um, but yeah, let's talk about the Pistons, right? And the general manager search is critical. And the reason why it's so critical in this situation is because the Pistons have a fresh start. They got money. Right now they have $39.9 million under the cap. And not only just that, if they come to a new collective bargaining agreement anytime soon, Pistons Pistons may have the opportunity to take Blake Griffin's contract off the books. So that will free up another $36 million off the books. So now you're looking at them having $75 million in cap space, and now people get to see why moving Andre Drummond for nothing is so critical. It's critical because one, you didn't get a contract in return. You got two expiring contracts where you can get them off the books. You can bring them back for the low, but you have flexibility. So the Pistons have all this flexibility. So they have to have somebody to, be the floor general, somebody to put this team together the right way, because this franchise hasn't been in this position since they drafted Grant Hill. Right? They haven't been in this position since they drafted Grant Hill. So you don't want anybody coming here and mess it up and set the franchise back another 10 years. In another 5 to 10 years, we can be in a position to fight for a championship, Eastern Conference championship, Central Division title, all that good stuff. So those that's just why this is so critical, right? They know Ed Stefanowski doesn't want to be the general manager. You have to scout. You have to get the scouts input. You have to go to the assistant manager. You have to work with the coach. I think he at the point in his career where he don't want to do that day to day operations with the general manager's operations. So if that's truly what he don't want to do, he just want to be an advisor. Now you have to hire a general manager. Now where it gets sticky at is here. It gets sticky at basically they still want somebody to answer to Ed Stefanowski, and they want them to keep Dwayne Casey. Now if you want somebody to come in and be a general manager, all right, they should have complete control over what they want to control. If they want Dwayne Casey gone, they should be able to have Dwayne Casey gone. If they want to keep Dwayne Casey, they should be able to keep Dwayne Casey. Only person they should legit be answering to is Tom Gore's, because it's Tom Gore's money, it's Tom Gore's team. They shouldn't have to answer to Ed Stefanowski. See, this is where it gets sticky right here. This is where Chauncey Billups don't want nothing to do with this. Right? Chauncey Billups want to be able to have complete reign and control over a franchise without answering to Ed. Okay? That's the issue. He want to have complete control and just answer to Tom. He want to be able to probably come in here and get his own head coach. So what you're looking at is a position that's restricted. That's the problem. You're looking at a position that's restricted. You know, you come in, you basically, when you take this job, what it sound like, you basically an assistant to Ed. Now, can Ed still be a senior advisor and help Tom Gores make the decision? Yeah, but nobody wants the general manager position to answer to somebody else. Tayshaun Prince can stay in Memphis and answer to who he gonna answer to. Shane Battier can stay where he at and answer to who he gonna Pat Riley. Chauncey can stay where he at and answer who he gonna answer. Obviously, if they want to handcuff this position, Malik Rose is the best person to take the position. To be honest, he already assistant general manager. He already answered the time. He already answered the Ed. He was, he pretty much probably they can convince him to keep Dwayne Casey. So I think Malik Rose is the perfect guy for the job under what they want to put here. Now everybody wants Chauncey Billups, right? Minnesota wanted Chauncey Billups. Chauncey has a great job. He has a great job in ESPN. Now, does Chauncey want to give up his ESPN job to come to Detroit? Only way Chauncey comes to Detroit and gives us an ESPN job if he has full control and he has full reign over the Detroit Pistons. If he has full reign and full control over the Pistons, where he can make the moves he want to make, then so be it. I don't mind hiring Chauncey Billups. I think Chauncey Billups played the game the right way. He's a smart guy. Obviously, he sounds like he know the game on TV. But if he want to come in here and pick a head coach that he want, Chauncey should have that will. He shouldn't have to answer to Ed. He shouldn't have to retain Dwayne Casey. He should be able to do what he wants to do. Point blank, period. Dwayne Casey, I think they want to force somebody to keep him. But if he ain't the coach, he ain't the coach. Now, if it's a situation, say, all right, you can try Dwayne Casey out, Chauncey, the first year. If you don't like him, we'll find you a new coach. Then I get it. But Chauncey Billups, I think, is on everybody's wish list, and I'm not mad at it. I think Chauncey deserves to be on the wish list. It'd be great if he can do what Joe Dumars did. But the problem with Joe Dumars is he was good at picking up missing pieces and established pieces and putting them together. I'm trying to think of this dude's name. Not Rich Gannon, but John Gruden was he was a head coach that was good with veteran quarterbacks. That was kind of his calling card. Joe Dumars is the equivalent of that. He good with veteran players and putting them together and see how they work. Joe Dumars wasn't good drafting players, and that's the problem. So if Chauncey want to come in here and Chauncey wants to reset the scouting department. He wants to reset how they think about drafting guys. The best thing you want from a general manager is to be able to have communication with the coaches and be on the same page with the coaches and be able to draft. That's been the Achilles heels for the Pistons. The Pistons have missed out on guys like, Devin Booker. They've missed out on guys like Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, I've seen Chauncey Billups, the Pin Bob salute. I didn't see Chauncey Billups, work out with Kawhi Leonard. He helps these dudes in the draft process, so he knows what to look for. So when you look at a candidate, forget what the Pistons want. They want somebody to be a whipping boy. If they get a whipping boy, Ed Stefanowski needs to do the job himself. They need somebody that's a general, somebody that can make their own decisions and get a free reign of the franchise. If I'm a candidate personally, I'm not answering to Ed Stefanowski. I shouldn't need his blessings to build the franchise the way I want to build it. Only person I need to know is Tom Gores. Can we do this? I shouldn't be married to Dwayne Casey. I shouldn't be married to his coaching staff. I shouldn't be married to the scout department, and I shouldn't have to answer to Ed. And that's just simple as that. They won't get a guy like Chauncey Billups with all those handcuffs on him. You might as well forget about Chauncey Billups. Why should I come here and be handcuffed by your decision making, by what you want? You can just step in and do the job, Ed. You can just keep Malik Rose and control him with as a like you a puppet master. That's it. So you guys out here that want Chauncey, like me, he's on top of my wish list. You guys that want Chauncey Billups, you won't get Chauncey unless they take the handcuffs and let him have free reign over being the general manager of the Pistons. And I think Chauncey would be an excellent candidate to come and run the Pistons. The problem with Jeff and Jordan Bowers was they didn't know how to draft talent. They didn't know how to put a team together. You know, they messed the franchise up trying to make shift. The general manager that come in, give them an opportunity to build the franchise the right. Get them time to build the franchise. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, and it's very critical this year. You got good cap room. You know, you like, you know what? If Chauncey come in here, Chauncey, you know, take your time. There's no need to rush. You got time. We got time. And that's it. But you won't get a guy like Chauncey Billups here with all these different handcuffs and requirements that they're giving him. Let him build the franchise the way he wants to build it. Brick by brick, build the foundation up. And that's going to start off with the draft. Free agency right now is pretty much irrelevant. They got to build a team off the draft. It will last. Now, part of your team will be, you know, veteran players or free agents or you know, the Pistons, you know, the bad boys. They got Vinny. They have Bill, Lambier, Rick Mahorn. They have some established NBA players. You need those guys. But what's most important about that team was some critical trades that they made. Tripucka getting Adrian Danley, drafting Joe Dumars, drafting John Sally, drafting Isaiah Thomas, and drafting Joe Dumars. Dennis Rodman. You have to draft well. Draft players are cheap. You feel me? And drafted players are usually young. So, you know, whoever you feel give you the best bang for your buck at drafting players and assessing players, that's who you should go with. Now, another guy to be talked about is Tayshaun Prince. Obviously, he's been in the Memphis Grizzlies organization. He seemed to be a smart guy, you know, and this will be an upgrade for him. He don't have a glamorous job like Fergie would say. He's not living a glamorous life in Memphis. Michael Salute. He is working up under somebody. He's an assistant general manager. So to put Tayshaun Prince in this position, it will work. Because remember, a couple teams are going with it's two new trends in general manager. I mean, with general manager now, I'll break them down. The first trend now is these younger guys. The James Jones, if you didn't know, the old Indiana Pacer played with LeBron, won some rings with him. He's the general manager of the Suns, and Elton Brand from the Los Angeles Clippers and Duke, he's the general manager for the 76ers. So it is a trend to go with former players. So Tayshaun would definitely fit, and I think Tayshaun would fit better in this position that they're looking for with the requirements and the handcuffs that come with it than Chauncey. Chauncey don't want to leave ESPN. Chauncey living a good life. You know, Chauncey could have went to Minnesota and had the same job. Now with Tayshaun Prince is in Memphis, and he's working up under somebody anyway. So this will be a promotion for Tayshaun Prince to come back to Detroit, somewhere that he lived, somewhere that he played. Still got the greatest block in playoff history off Reggie Miller, in my opinion, and run the show. But I just don't like when they try to sit somebody there and they want them to be a puppet, and they be the puppeteer and they control the strings. I think whoever comes in this position should be able to have the scouting department they want, the coach they want, and the only person they should answer to is Tom Gores when they need to cash that check in. That's it. But I think Tayshaun, I think he's a smart kid when he played here. He was a veteran. He already had played 4 years with Tubby Smith, so he know basketball. So you talking about player development, scouting players, and also a GM is the day-to-day basketball operations. You know, who to call up from the G League, roster situations, forming a report with Dwayne Casey. So I like Ed being there for somebody to lean on for advice, but I don't like Ed being an approval guy. Like everything you do, got to go through Ed to get the time. No, like, hey Ed, man, I'm thinking about trading blah 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 for blah blah blah. What you think about that? And Ed probably like, that's a good trade. I think you should do whoop de whoop, and then we can see if we go through with that. Instead of, hey Ed, is it okay if I trade whoop de whoop for whoop de whoop? And Ed say yes or no. No, Ed should just be an advisor, somebody you lean on when shit go, when shit go like, I don't know about this one. Time go to him like, I don't know about what you think about that. Yeah, that's cool, do it. Or no, that's not cool, don't do it. So it all boils down to who want to fit into this puzzle, the way they got it built. And if I was the Pistons and they would listen to me, let whoever come in have full control. You let Jordan Bowers and Jeff Van Gundy have full control. You let Joe Dumars have full control. You know what I'm saying? And you're still gonna manage what they spend, because it's time for his money. It all goes through time. But Tayshaun Prince, I like him as well. Shane Battier, he from Birmingham, went to country there as well. You know why I like Shane Battier? Salute, ain't getting no. They'll never send my notifications out. Benjamin Foe, salute. You know why I like Shane Battier? Because he's a local guy, just kind of sort of like the other two we talked about, Chauncey and Tayshaun, but he worked with Pat Riley, and I think he learned from the best. Pat Riley has shown time and time again he knew how to put these teams together. He put three championship teams together in Miami. Um, he was part of a few in L.A. He was part of some really tough, hard nosed teams in New York. And one thing about Pat Riley is that he just has a proven formula to how to build a team. And what's so great about Shane Battier is a smart player. He's a local guy. He paid his dues in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So with him paying his dues and being a smart guy, that alone, if Pat Riley co-signs Shane Battier, I have no issue with getting Shane Battier, because I like Shane Battier. Tough, hard nosed player. His game is predicated on 3 and D. But the thing about Shane Battier is, with a guy like him, Bruce Bowens, the Ruben Pattersons, the Tony Allens of the world, they are very, very defensive minded. And that's the one thing you want about Detroit. You want somebody that has the Detroit mentality. When Pistons won championships, it was good defense and they had excellent point guard play. There's no reason to mess up that formula, and Battier know what it takes to build a championship team. Pat Riley loved defense. Pat Riley loved players to stay in shape and not have high body fat. Pat Riley always evolved. For you to keep winning championships and being part of championships from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to the 10s, and his Miami Heat team has a chance to contend for a championship in the beginning of 2020, you doing something right. That's like 5 decades, and he was a player as well. That's like 5 decades of being successful. Why wouldn't I want to pick off the Pat Riley tree? Why? Why wouldn't I want to pick off Pat Riley's tree? I mean, come on. It's common sense. And it's a local guy, so Shane Battier, he don't need Ed to be over his head. He don't need to keep Dwayne Casey. He has the references and he has the pull to be able to build a team in Detroit. He has the right mindset, and he has the right prototype on what they built in Miami. And players like Shane Battier, they like him. You know what I'm saying? Very likable guy, very good guy. He can come in here and put it together. And if he fail, what's the difference? The Pistons been failing since they got rid of Ben Wallace, to be real. That Piston team should have blew it up when they got rid of Ben Wallace. That team was never the same. We could sit here and thought we were going to win another championship after 05 or contend for another championship after 05. It wasn't going to happen. Not without Ben. So Battier knows what it takes to build a team. I don't want nobody coming here that don't know how to build a team in Detroit. It's based off defense, it's based off drafting, and it's based off blue collar hard nose playing basketball. So I love Shane Battier in that position. Another guy, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, he was in the Sacramento coaching front office. So he got some experience in there. So a player guy that's real smart. He probably don't have as much of the culture of the Pistons, but it's a guy to look out for. John Barry is another guy. Brent Barry, excuse me. His brother John played in Detroit. Brent Barry is for the Spurs organization. The Pistons tried to hire him a few years ago to do what Malik Rose was doing, and Malik Rose ended up coming, and Brent Barry chose not to go. Obviously, they dad was a really good basketball player. He shot the ball underhand. That's how I remember him. But he can score. He can score it. He can fill it up. And some of my other general manager Piston videos, Um, I talked about you want to pinch people off great, trees, and the Spurs tree is great. Sam Presti came from the Spurs tree in Oklahoma City Thunder. Ben Berry has deep ties in the NBA. His dad was a great player. His brother was a solid player. He was a solid player. So he comes from an organization that knows how to build the team together. Obviously, you might want to put one-on-one together. He may want to hire somebody from the Spurs organization to be the head coach, like Tim Duncan. I don't know about Becky Hammond. Would he go that far? But Brent Berry would be a good choice because he comes from a strong organization that has a proven system, similar than Pat Riley and with Shane Battier. The Spurs continue to be a well-oiled machine. They had a little fall off this year. They thought LaMarcus Aldridge was going to beat Tim Duncan, but he hasn't been. But at the end, they traded George Hill from Uwe Pui for Kawhi Leonard, and that was one of the best moves in history. Obviously, they believed in tanking. They tanked. They got Tim Duncan and paired him with David Robinson. So with Brent Berry, I kind of like the Spurs situation and picking off a proven system. He could bring it to Detroit. And he has a lot of experience in the position just to begin with. But Michael said, I just posted a notification on your channel, and for some videos, I don't get notifications, even though I have them on. I saw this on one of my recommendations. Appreciate it. Yeah, they don't send my notifications out. Benjamin saw Pat Riley's a dog, especially when it comes to conditioning. Salute. But yeah, I like Brent Berry in that position. Also, Kevin Garnett is a guy you can also look at. That's I think he's dying to get an opportunity. Apparently, Flip Saunders, excuse me. Flip Saunders wanted him to be the successor of him in the front office when he died. And the Minnesota Timberwolves owner, lied to KG, and KG don't fuck with him no more. Long story short, so KG is somebody that's trying to get in the front office. So if you do want to make a splash and you do want to look at former players, KG, Kenny Anderson, Reggie Miller, some of those guys you may want to look at. But Kevin Garnett might be a guy you can look at, a guy that's still young, a guy that might be a better fit than everybody we name, not name Malik Rose, even though I haven't got to him that. Kevin Garnett might be a better fit because he needs to kind of be groomed in this position. And also, he's a splash name. You know what I'm saying? He knows talent. He knows basketball. Once again, his game was predicated off of defense. He was one of those younger big men that became very twitchy. Him and Dirk Nowitzki, mainly Dirk, changed the game from guys really shooting outside, and Garnett was more the mid-range guy. But Garnett game was passion, intensity, defense, and that's everything that the Detroit Pistons represent. Don't forget he was supposed to go to Michigan, but he didn't because he didn't think he was going to pass the essay or ACT. So Garnett may be a name that fits the best other than Malik Rose because Ed can still groom him. He can still learn from Ed, and Ed can help him out. The rest of the guys that I named, maybe not so much Tayshaun Prince, are ready to spread their rings and run their own organization. Alex, salute. So KG may fit better in this situation because KG needs guidance and he needs to kind of be groomed around the edges to be in this position. So Ed can still be the unofficial general manager and still train KG. And also, KG gives you a name that get Piston fans excited. So KG can kind of still be the puppet while learning to be the puppeteer. So I see KG working really good in this situation. But other guys like Chauncey and Shane Battier, they ready to run their organization. You know what I'm saying? Tayshaun Prince may kind of fit in a Malik Rose, KG type of situation, but KG is a name to look out for too. Kenny the Jet Smith may be a name to look out for. Reggie Miller is a name also heard you could look out for that may be trying to get into the GM game. So then we go to Malik Rose. Malik Rose is a guy that's already been assistant general manager, so he probably will get interviewed. Now, this can be the biggest overplay for the underplay in your life. This is kind of one of my theories about this job. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button, man. One of my theories about this job is they are acting like they're looking for a general manager, but they already know they're going to hire Malik Rose. Malik Rose has been assistant manager he's been getting groomed by Ed Stefanowski for this position. So don't be surprised if Malik Rose gets this job and they call him the regular general manager, but Ed is still the real general manager, but he really the assistant general manager. So I think that's what's gonna happen. So for people getting their hopes up about Chauncey, Tayshaun, Shane, Abdul Rahim, Kevin Garnett, Brent Berry, Sam Presti, or Dale Demps, and I'll get to him in a minute. I believe that they're going to hire Malik Rose all the way along, all along. Malik Rose will be the guy. He's been the guy that's been promised a position. He's been the guy that's been learning under Ed, and this gives Ed the opportunity to shut up a guy like Mike Valenti to say this franchise is going nowhere without a general manager. They're probably going to upgrade Malik Rose to general manager, and Ed is still going to be the acting. He's going to be the real general manager. And if that happens, then I don't think Ed has done the worst job. I didn't like this. The one thing I didn't like from Ed at first, I didn't like the Diambo pick because I felt that the Pistons need to win now. But when they got an opportunity to get Kevin Porter Jr. and they traded out of that position, that might have been more of Tom Gore's not wanting to spend the money and going to the luxury tax. But I felt that they should have picked Kevin Porter Jr. regardless. The talent was there. So I believe Malik Rose is probably going to get this job, and he's already been promised a job. They're going to interview a few guys, and they're going to name him the job. I don't think they want to spend no more money on bringing a Chauncey here, and I don't think Ed Stefanowski wants to give up that control. So that's the problem you got in Detroit. Ed Stefanowski, he has Tom Gore's ear. He tells Tom what to do, what he need to do, what he don't need to do. And if they hire Malik Rose, Ed is still unofficially going to be the general manager. Now, some other dark horse names that might be out there: Jerry Colangelo, he got in trouble for the burner accounts in Philadelphia. You know, he's been the guy that's been really smart and integral part to help putting that Philadelphia 76er team together. I believe his father put together Team USA at one point, so Jerry Colangelo could be a guy if they can get past the burner accounts and everything he went through. He could be a guy that you see the Pistons bring in that might be on the bird watch list. He's a good general manager. Um, Other than Jerry Colangelo, trying to think of somebody else's name who's out there. I said Brent Berry. I don't think you can see Masai Ujiri come here. I don't think I want to spend that type of money on him. I said Kenny Anderson, Reggie Miller. Uh, oh yeah, Rich Paul. Okay, this is probably all the way out of left field, but the other trend as far as general managers has been super agents. The Knicks just hired a super Carmelo Anthony agent, and obviously the Lakers hired Rob Pelinka, Kobe Bryant's agent. So we've seen a rise of agents become general managers. All right. So that being said, Rich Paul is one of the most powerful agents in the game with LeBron James co-signing him. So could he get somebody else to run his company because it's been picked up by another company? Can he get somebody else to run his company and try the Piston job? If I'm the Pistons and I truly want to find the best candidate to bring in top players here, Rich Paul got all the pull. Rich Paul can, he got more pull than some coaches and some GMs got. So Rich Paul can legit put a super team in Detroit together. Isaiah Sullivan, appreciate the love in the super chat. Salute. He definitely can put some shit together. If you're looking for a real splashy play, a play that probably can guarantee you the splashy players coming to Detroit, it's probably Rich Paul. Rich Paul got every connection. You know what I'm saying? And it might be a play in there where, when Tom Gore's ready to sell the Pistons, at some point, maybe Rich Paul can convince him to sell it to LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? That's close to the Cleveland Akron area. That's like a 4 or 5, 3 hour drive, depending on how you drive. So you may see a situation where, with Rich Paul, if you want to make a splashy, sexy play, and you want to get free agents here, and you want to, you want to get the Damian Lillards, or you want to get some of those guys here, Rich Paul got that type of pull that people really actually gravitate to him and want to see him win. So a lot of players probably will go to Rich Paul and want to win in Detroit. So that's kind of a low key number. He said Michael Zarin was another guy we were looking at in the Celtics group. Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, he worked with Danny Ainge and them. So got to be funny bringing the Celtics in, a Celtic guy in. But yeah, those are some of the names you look at, and also I got another list that was pulled up. So I'll read that real quick. Give me a minute. Oh, that's it. I pretty much got everybody off the list. Um, so yeah, let me know in the chat who you guys, if I missed anybody, who you guys want to see be general manager. I was thinking about Dell Demps. Yeah, Dell Demps was in New Orleans. David Stern, before he passed away, had a swipe at him and made a swipe and said he didn't know what he was doing. Obviously, David Stern, um, he vetoed the trade that sent Chris Paul to the Lakers. That was Dell Demps that put that trade together. Um, he got ran out of New Orleans. It wasn't his fault. Anthony Davis couldn't stay healthy. Neither could DeMarcus Cousins. He had some talent there. You know, the Hornets couldn't stay healthy. He's a guy that got experience and got a good eye for talent. To be honest, it's just that his talent, his eye for talent, just been injury prone people. So, yeah. What about Sam Hinkie? Um, who Sam Hinkie with? That name sound familiar. Who is he with? I don't know. His name sound hella familiar. Hold on, hella familiar. Hold on. Got to put him. Oh, you with the Sixers? Yeah, I always know that name. They got a good organization. They actually tried to trade Ben Simmons. I mean, Ben Simmons and the majority owner stopped them from trading Ben Simmons. But yeah, you know they've been pretty good with the moves they're making. Not necessarily the greatest in the draft. They missed with Noel. They missed with Nerlens Noel is another guy they missed with too, man. Markel Fultz, nobody could have seen that coming though. They hit with Ben, they hit with Joel Embiid. They made a good trade for Jimmy, Tobias Harris. They just don't have the right coach at the helm, so that's something to look at. But yeah, anybody that's been successful in putting the team together, you look at the Thunder, Spurs, the Celtics, um, the Los Angeles Clippers done a good job in their front office. I think this is the first year Doc gave up his front office responsibilities. Ben Wallace, I don't know if Ben Wallace he want to do it. I never really looked at Ben as a front office guy. You know, I looked at him more of a coach or a strength and conditioning coach. But yeah, man, he's the truth. He's a trusted process. He was the guy that was tanking for Embiid and Ben Simmons and Okafor. Oh, they had Okafor too. That was another bad pick. Yeah, he had a few. They had a few bad picks. I thought Okafor was gonna be better than what he was, but he wasn't. Philly was smart enough to tank while Detroit chasing the ninth seed. Yep, that's because the Pistons. The Pistons was trying to. The salary cap for the Pistons was so high. You think about it: Dre making 26, Reggie making a dub, and Blake Griffin making 35, 34 million a year. You know what I'm saying? So they looking. Tom Gore's looking at like I'm spending all my salary cap. We should be in the playoffs. So when he hired, got rid of Stan Van Gundy and Jordan Bowers and hired Casey and Ed to be in there, their whole thing was they want to win now. They wanted to win now, and anybody could have told you this team wasn't going to win now, and that's what Tom Gore's wanted, and they tried to throw something together, and what they done is set the process back 2 or 3 years. Andre Drummond should have been bare minimum last year. Drummond should have been traded when they at the trade deadline. Blake should have been traded, and then Reggie could have been. They could have did what they was going to do with Reggie this year. You know what I'm saying? This year they tried to go get Derrick Rose, and I was confused at what they was doing because the way they took the draft, they picked up Derrick Rose, they bought in Markieff Morris. So look, they had a decent roster, but Derrick Rose's injury history, Blake had an injury history. You know, I was confused because you got the number 10 pick and they take Sayoko Diambo. And I'm like, why didn't they get a proven commodity at number 10? That was my whole. And then with their last pick of the draft they got from Milwaukee or whatever it was, they were actually looking to draft the Baisley kid, Darius Baisley, that went to the Thunder, and the Thunder took him before them. So then they traded their last pick out instead of taking Kevin Porter Jr. and being cheap. They should have took Kevin Porter Jr. and I thought they should have took a more pro ready guy at Diambo pick, but they didn't do it. So I was confused. I'm saying you drafted two guys because the other guy that they drafted in the second round, he wanted to stay in. He stayed in Israel. So you draft these two guys that's not going to help you in the near future. And then, literally, we know Kyrie Thomas didn't help him this year neither. He had a foot injury. Jamar Hilbert, salute, appreciate the super chat, like and support, appreciate it. Make sure y'all hit the like button and share the video. So my whole thing my whole thing about excuse me, lost train of thought for a minute. My whole thing about the Pistons direction last year, it was kind of like conflict of interest. Like, are we gonna tank or are we gonna go for it? And obviously they end up tanking in the end, but they built a team on a lot of injury prone players, man. And you're not gonna win like that. Reggie injury prone, Derek injury prone. We didn't know Kyrie was gonna get hurt. Luke Kennard injury prone. Uh, Blake injury prone. So Drummond, one thing about Drummond was he was durable, but he was never he was not good on either side of the ball. He was a great rebounder, below average offensive player, below average defensive player. You're not gonna win paying those guys max contracts. Tayshaun dreaded coming to Detroit late in his career. Hope he don't ever come back. He said he dreaded it, probably because they wasn't a winning situation. Probably what it was. I don't think it was personal. I just think he didn't want to be here without, winning. When you've been winning here so long, you've been making deep playoff runs, and you come to a situation where they rebuilding, they're not going to win. Who wants to be in there? You want to be able to keep your fondest memories of Detroit. He tried to bring Stan Van Gundy like Drummond was Howard. Never understood why we tried to pattern our team on one team that got swept in the finals and later dismantled the Magic. They didn't get swept, did they? They didn't get swept in the finals. They won like a game or two. They didn't get swept. They didn't get swept. I don't think they did. Let me check. Did they get swept? Yeah, they won one game. They won one game. They won one game. So they didn't get swept. They almost got swept. But that team really was good because it was not just Dwight. Dwight was the main ingredient. It was good because Hito Turkoglu was the facilitator, and they just had the perfect team around Dwight Howard. So that is what it is. But yeah, I didn't. Drummond, as funny as it sound right now, Drummond was never as polished as or as dominant as Dwight Howard was offensively or defensively. He never came close. He said the reason why we got 30 pick in Milwaukee, yeah, the Tony Snell trade. He thought they would have traded up for Sioko, according to Ed. He said he thought they had to trade up for Sioko, but they didn't have to. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But hey, like I said before, it made no sense to me to say you going for it next year. You signed Derek, you signed Markeith. You know what I'm saying? You got Blake back, you got Reggie back, you got Drummond back, you got Luke that's supposed to break out this year. It made no sense for me for them to go out there and draft a developmental player, and that's what they was going to treat Diambo as, a developmental player in a team that you was trying to win now in. It made no sense. Now it makes sense that you tearing it down. Now you got a guy you could build around, you could build with or build around. It's yet to be determined about Diambo. But you also got Christian Woods you should retain. So that's a great starter. You got two cheap players that you can build around. You feel me? He said Luke Kennard was the man on how y'all better go. He ain't the man right now. I don't see the infatuation with him. But he only 23. But usually younger guys don't get healthier. I'd have been traded his ass. What are free agents that we should be looking at this summer? I'm going to get to that in 1 minute, the value picks. How long do you think it's going to take before they understand talent will come once we find someone to develop talent? Yeah, I agree. Um, that has to do more than Dwayne Casey. You have to have coaches to help develop talent, shooting coaches, former players, and they got to have a work ethic, and also you got to have a strength and conditioning coach too. You know what I'm saying? That's the God honest truth. You got to have all that. Everything got to be perfect to develop players. You got to have players that want to work hard. You got to have players that want to win. You got coaches that got to be able to connect with the players. You got strength and conditioning coaches that got to be able to become stronger. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a head coach that believes to play and develop them. If they don't practice well, it don't mean they don't play well. Some guys don't practice well. A lot of young guys don't have the practice habits or the study habits in the classroom. Sometimes they come with maturity. Once they kind of, see that the game ain't as easy as they think it is, and they kind of get fouled out, they kind of get bullied around, by the Kobe Bryants, the LeBrons of the world, then they start watching film. Then they start becoming students of the game. The Pistons always had this thought that, until you practice well, you can't play, or, we don't know if you're ready yet. No, some guys are ready. Some guys are better game players than you know. So you have to be willing to play young guys, the starter minutes that they deserve. or they need to play, need to have until they tire down. Then you taper their minutes down, and then they take it more serious, being in the weight room, studying film, and all that. They have to be able to let the young guys play and develop on the floor. There's no point to put Andre Drummond out there when Christian Wood was out there and he all he needed was an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? There's no point to have Derrick Rose out there. You draft a young point guard and you giving Derrick Rose all the minutes. You're not going nowhere. And I think they finally figured that out. They're not going nowhere. So now I think they are going to be committed to playing young guys and letting them develop on the floor. So that's my whole thing. We got the ghost of Blake Griffin. Well, they may be able to get rid of Blake Griffin if a new CBA sign. So they might have an amnesty clause in there where all they have to do, Blake Griffin money won't count against the cap. They would just write him a check for $70 million, and he could be able to go and tag team on the end of a championship team. So whenever the season officially ends, the collective bargaining agreement may get him an amnesty clause where you could be looking at the Pistons having $70-some million going into free agency, which I would not spend on. I'll say this real quick, except for on Brandon Ingram. That's just how I'm looking at it. But the Warriors almost got stuck with Stan Van Gundy. Oh, I didn't know that. Benjamin Ford, people go, oh, I think he did interview for that job. Yep, you're right. I remember that. Benjamin Ford, King Line, good point. I remember people go hard for Stan Van Gundy for not drafting Booker, not knowing he was a bench player in college. My whole thing, it wasn't that he was a bench player. He was a good player. He was a local product. Shit, he was from Grand Rapids. His daddy was a pro. It don't mean that he was a bench player. I mean, Marvin Williams was a bench player. He went like number 2 or 3 overall. And for you trying to build Dwight Howard, right? You trying to make Drummond into Dwight Howard, you got to have shooters. Devin Booker can shoot the ball. Devin Booker can put the ball on the rim. That's your problem. That's what people problem. You looking at people. If it don't matter if you start or finish. I mean, you don't matter if you start or don't. If can you play? And Kentucky went. They go like 6, 7 people deep. You know what I'm saying? I was saying the same thing about Tyler Hero. I see a lot of Tyler Hero similarities to Devin Booker. But obviously Tyler Hero went before we picked this year. That was my pick. I was impressed by Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is everything we thought Luke Kennard was going to be in Sun. But with Devin Booker, that's Kentucky. Kentucky got like 7 All-Americans. Devin Booker was a local guy. But that's how they went to. But let's finish off the topic of discussion before we get into Q&A. All right. So we're talking about value free agents, right? Now, one of the guys we talk about is Bojan Bojanovic from the Sacramento Kings. Okay. They may be trading Buddy Hield to the Lakers, I'm hearing. So they're gonna probably pay Bojanovic, but he's the guy to me that kind of remind me of Vinny Johnson. They can come off the bench and give you buckets. He facilitated a lot better than Vinny Johnson, but he was a guy I didn't like at first, but I see his game. He can shoot it. He a combo guard that can come off the bench. He kind of gets you of a mind frame of what they want Stuckey to be, but he kind of like Stuckey because he a tweener, but he can handle, he can distribute, he can shoot, he instant buckets off the bench. So that's why I'm kind of enamored with him. Just his ability to come off the bench and give you a lot of good buckets, and I think he embraced that role. So you're looking at a guy that could be Lewis Williams, Vinny Johnson. So you need that guy in the championship team to come off the bench and give you buckets. Is it premature to say we need to find our Vinny Johnson right now? Yeah, but it's good to lock him in, to have him. Remember, Ben Gordon's supposed to come here and be that guy, and you need a bucket getter to come off the bench. And that's kind of where the going to work Pistons probably fell a little short of repeating and not taking Carmelo Anthony's, because they really didn't have that guy off the bench that can get their own bucket. They had Corliss, had Mike James, Lindsey Hunter. You know what I'm saying? They had Bobby Sura before the trade. You know what I'm saying? But they really never had that guy that can go out there and get their own bucket and penetrate. And that's kind of where the Pistons failed. And that's kind of where I think the end of Joe Dumars deserve to be at, but not taking Dwayne Wade or not taking Carmelo Anthony. I don't care, if you had to slide Wade to the 2, put Wade at the 2 and slide Rip to the 3 and bring Tayshaun off the bench. I don't care what you had to do. Wade was the perfect player to be able to get his own bucket with that team, and so was Carmelo Anthony. You find a way to use those guys. You do, man. But other guys you got out there is value picks. Jeremy Grant is another guy that played for the Denver Nuggets. Um, he's a guy that can shoot it. He all around got shoot it, rebound. So he more of one of those glue guys. Power forward, athletic, get up and down the floor. You got a team that's probably gonna be athletic. They probably gonna draft a guard that can get up and down the floor. So you got a veteran guy that guys can lean on who played with some great players in Oklahoma City, Russell Westbrook. So you're looking for guys that can get up and down the floor with experience. And Jeremy Grant has now added a 3-pointer to his game. He one of those valuable guys that I look at that can get up and down the floor and still pretty young. Okay. Um, Another guy that I like as well too is Malik Beasley. He was traded from the Denver Nuggets to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He averaged 11.2 points a game last year. He another guy. He got beat up at his hotel by a Denver Bronco. I'm always remember that from Instagram model that he got pregnant. But he's a guy that can shoot it. He can get up and down the floor, can defend. He may be a guy that can be your Christian Wood with an opportunity. When I say about that, with more minutes and consistent playing time, he's a guy that probably can develop into your starting two guard because he can defend. He got nice size on him. I think he's 6'4". He can shoot it. He only 23 years old. He can straight get buckets. He can straight get buckets. So his price not going to be that high. When I say Malik Rose can get buckets, him, Torrey Craig, and the other guy that played in up at Flint, who was a runner-up, who won the Mr. Basketball, I think it was, I get him and Malik Beasley mixed up. But he's still on the Denver Nuggets. Malik Beasley is a guy that's probably he restricted, but he's a guy that I go out there. He's a guy that I go out there and I probably pay him. I probably pay him. It shouldn't be high neither. You probably can get him what you get Christian Woods around $7, $8, $9 million a year. But he's one of those guys that I think with an opportunity to play all night. I think his defense. I think the ability to play defense. I think his scoring. I think he can step in and be your starting two guard. In worst case scenario, if you draft the Edwards, you draft another two guard down the line, he can come off the bench. But I think he got a chance to be comeback player. Well, he got a chance to be most improved player of the year if the Pistons sign him, because if they get a point guard and get them moving up and down the floor, he's probably the guy I like the best as far as value. Another guy, Chris Dunn. If you don't get you a point guard, Chris Dunn is a guy that's been suffering in Chicago, and when he gets good minutes, he put up good numbers. He can defend. He can facilitate. He athletic. Problem with Chris Dunn is he don't shoot that good. All right. They said he shot 56% from 3-point last year. So I didn't know that. So, but he can get up and down the floor. He can defend. Uh, he improved his 3-pointer obviously this year. But yeah, if you don't get you a point guard, you don't get your Dinwiddie, you don't get your LaMelo or one of the 1,000 point guards, Cole Anthony, Keon Johnson. If you don't get one of them, I think he's still fairly young too. I think Chris Dunn would be a good pickup for the Pistons. He could defend, he could facilitate, his jumper improving, and I think he's another guy that if he get full-time minutes, don't be surprised if Chris Dunn if he become an all-star. I would put my pretty penny that down the line, him and Malik Beasley with an opportunity, especially in the East, they may become all-stars with the right opportunity. So I love me some Chris Dunn. I've always loved him since when he was in Minnesota. I just thought he needed an opportunity, and fighting with Kobe Wright and Shavansky in Chicago, I don't think he's got that opportunity. So I get the questions and answers in a minute. So I love me some Chris Dunn. Dario Saric, I love Dario Saric too. When he was in Philly, I think he played in Minnesota. He in Phoenix, he was dealing with some injuries last year, but he a stretch four. He good facilitating with passing. He could play with or he could play behind Christian Woods in today's NBA. He can spot up and shoot the three. Love his game. Dario Saric. I think with an opportunity, he could be a really, really solid guy in this league, man. So he can give you some 5 play. He can give you a lot of 4 play. He can, no pun intended on 4 play. He can shoot. He can shoot. He can shoot. He can shoot. You don't like Chris Dunn? Love Chris Dunn. Love Chris Dunn, bro. Chris Dunn can play, bro. I don't know why you don't like him. Chris Dunn just don't got it. Chicago just a crazy franchise. They don't know what the hell they doing. In another video, I do a sleeper. A lot of people talking about Derrick Jones Jr. I like him. If you get your point guard that can push the floor, Derrick Jones Jr. can get triple. He can get double doubles for sure. You know what I'm saying? He good defensive player. He can't quite be your Tayshaun until he improve his outside jumper, but defensively, He can defend. And I think if Shane Battier do come here and be your general manager, he probably bring Derrick Jones Jr. with him. He can provide, that energy that the junkyard dog used to provide when he dunked the basketball. Great dunker. You know what? To be honest, he's a great player to fit in what the Pistons trying to be is young and exciting and get up and floor. And this is a plus that he defend. And he had some really good games last year. Some injuries kind of derailed his career because I had him on FanDuel a lot. He was a good value pick. But the Pistons get them a point guard that can get up and down the floor. I'm telling you, man, Derrick Jones Jr. gonna be a problem. But yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man. Chris Dunn is that guy, man. I'm trying to tell you. Josh Jackson is the last guy I'm gonna talk about on this list, I believe. I got a few other guys. Josh Jackson is another guy like him. He a local guy. I think he went to Consortium Preparatory College Preparatory School in high school. I love his game. You know what I'm saying? If you're struggling to find a point guard or you need a point forward, Josh Jackson is the guy. He got into some trouble in Miami at Rolling Loud last year. A lot of people got in trouble there in Miami. He had to fight his way through the G League as discipline. But Josh Jackson's a top 4 pick. I wouldn't hesitate to pick up the phone. Byron Forbes, I'm not high on Byron Forbes at all. Not high. I don't see why people like him. He can shoot. That's it. He's more of a Derek Fisher type. I don't even know how good of a defender he really is. But Byron Forbes, I don't like him. He can shoot though, but he's not better than Chris Dunn. But Josh Jackson definitely a guy that can defend. Um, you know, but he a guy that still can be an all-star. He can defend. His shooting got improved. And I think playing in Phoenix messed him up because Booker needed the ball. TJ Warren at the time needed the ball a little bit. And when those guys went out, he put up really good numbers, man. He can defend. He a guy that still got all-star potential. So he a guy I'm calling up quick because he ain't gonna cost that much money. But you always hesitant of guys that play locally. You always think about Charles Rogers. You also think about the guys that play in their hometown. It's some issues gonna be there. So you got to make sure you have a strong locker room when you bring in a guy like Josh Jackson playing at home. But I wouldn't hesitate to call none of these dudes. These dudes could be good veteran players if they find them a point guard. And then there's some other guys. Harry Giles, I'm not a fan of his. He always injured, and I never trust Duke players. No way. Look at Luke Kennard. Jordan Clarkson, the guy off the bench. I think he need to be on more of a team that's going to be winning right now. But I like Jordan Clarkson game. Always had. DJ Augustin, he been here. Still like his game. But unless you move Derrick Rose, then you don't need DJ Augustin. Alex Burke, always liked his game. He could defend. He could score. He just really ain't been able to shoot the ball that well, and that's the issue with him. An opportunity, but he's another guy low-key you could bring in. But as far as these other guys, Ken Bazemore, KCP, not a fan of bringing him back. But some of these dudes I truly, truly like, man, is Malik Beasley. Love his game. Love Chris Dunn game. I love Dario Saric to bring him in. These dudes are not going to break the bank. This is what this value is about. Alex Burke, like his game. Bojan Bojanovic, I think he's going to go back to Sacramento. They're going to trade Buddy Hield. And if you think I'm interested in Buddy Hield, no way, Jose, not with that contract. And Josh Jackson. My top 3 of this value list that I would sign is Josh Jackson, Malik Beasley, and Chris Dunn. If I don't get a point guard, Chris Dunn. If I do get a point guard, I go Dario Saric. So I believe they will get a point guard. So those are the guys I really like. Somebody said Byron Forbes. I bought him playing San Antonio. He can shoot it, but he'd be a guy that I would have be a backup point guard. I really like DeJounte Murray for San Antonio. I think he the wave. I'm not sure he's gonna be I'm not sure he's gonna be an all-star, but once he get a jumper, he probably will be an all-star. He'll probably be one of the better point guards in the league. But if I got questions, I answer him. Gary Harris, I don't think Gary Harris is a free agent. He could be. But Gary Harris is just, I don't know what's been going on with him. He had a terrible year last year. But I always like Gary Harris' game, even when he was at Michigan State. Jordan Bone, I don't know much about Jordan Bone. Was he from Tennessee? He was on the G League team. I don't know much about him. Anything like Stuckey is whack. Well, Stuckey wasn't whack. They just tried to make Stuckey something that he wasn't. They tried to make Stuckey into a structure player. Stuckey wasn't a point guard. You can't make some combo guards can't play point guard. You know what I'm saying? Stuckey just wasn't a point guard. Stuckey was a guy that, basically can make his own shot off the wing, get to the rock. They tried to make Stuckey into something that he wasn't, bro. And one day he was a bad player. It just wasn't the right system for Stuckey. Does the kick in the same season if they vote for the buyout? Yeah, kick in right at the when the CBA is signed. Yep, you kick in. You can amnesty a player. You just give them their money, but it don't count against the cap. So yeah, the last CBA they did that. Now it's not guaranteed they will do that this CBA, but the last CBA they had one amnesty clause. So I think you got to ask the Pistons where they amnesty Blake if that's a option. But Blake probably be asked to amnesty. You're probably looking at Blake getting bought out anyway. Um, not this season, but next season. So he's 31 years old, but he got the knees of a granddaddy. What do you think about Spencer from showing interest? Yeah, I like Spencer Dinwiddie. It's I think he tired of playing around Kyrie when the team was his last year. Y'all keep asking questions. When the team was his team last year, Spencer Dinwiddie had the Nets rolling. He should have never left Detroit. Him and Chris Middleton would have been a good backcourt. But yeah, I like Spencer Dinwiddie. If you want to bring in a veteran guy, the issue is this draft is point guard heavy. But if the Pistons get a top pick and they want to go Edwards, then I think they talking about putting the draft before free agency this year, or however going to NBA. I think it's free agency then the draft. I think the draft might be first. They talking about doing it the opposite. Whatever way it is, going the other way this year. But yeah, I like Dinwiddie. He can defend. He can play make. He can shoot. He got healed from that knee. And you put him and Edwards in the backcourt, him and Beasley in the backcourt. That's nice. So yeah, he's 26 years old, 27. So I'm all for Spencer Dinwiddie coming here. Obviously, I'm LaMelo Ball, love Cole Anthony, love a few guys in this draft, man. But I'm still kind of doing some of my homework on some of the scouting. So I missed out on Detroit Lions draft spotlight this year because the channel was hacked. But I do have a new Detroit Lions series starting. I'm just taking my time with it, so that is starting. So people that's waiting on that series to start, it's starting. How much years did Stan Van Gundy set us back with the Stanley pick and the Ellison pick over Griffin with the Griffin trade? And he set us back a few years, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as you think it is, because if they able to amnesty Blake, they bounce back pretty quick. Bro, how many of these elite point guards really play D? Not many. No, defense is optional. Even when you talk about the greatest basketball player debate or the best player in the league, these people don't mention defense. How can you be the best player in the league and you're not a good defensive player? All they do is glorify scoring, like James Harden. Two things that's underrated when you're talking about the greatest or the best player right now or the greatest of all time is winning and defending. Two things that LeBron don't do right now. Two things that James Harden don't do right now. You know what I'm saying? These new age media, I don't watch ESPN or Fox no more like that. The new age media, bro, is terrible. If those matter like hell. Winning is the number one thing. How can you be the greatest of all time if you don't win? How can you be elite or top 5 shooting guard if you don't win? Or you don't show up in the crunch time? Can't be. If you don't defend, how can you be the best player of all time? You can't. It's two sides of the basketball. Even though the name of the game is put the ball in the hole, second is stopping the ball from building in the hole. So really, everything is trying to curve the debate to make LeBron look better, to make Harden look better. Like the criteria is always the same. You win, you put the numbers up. Where you good in crunch time, and can you defend? We talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He could defend and do both. Defensive Player of the Year, multiple MVP. He got the whole credentials. Scoring, all-time scoring leader, Jordan did it all. Defensive Player of the Year, first team all defense. He did it all. MVPs, he did it all. There's really no debate. Hakeem Olajuwon, you can make a case that he greater than LeBron James. People talk about, LeBron James took a team full of nobodies to the championship, but Hakeem Olajuwon, my nigga, he won his first championship without another All-Star. I don't care if he has shooters or not. He won his championship. Dwight Howard had shooters and didn't win a championship. He won his first championship without another All-Star. Let that sink in. You feel me? Cash is projected to go to the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, I'm not a fan of Cassius Winston as a pro. Ilion LaMelo. I'd probably go LaMelo. But I like to have both. So LeBron doesn't do it all. Was he ever Defensive Player of the Year? All right, then. Do we play defense right now? All right, D. If he played defense right now, Kevin Durant wouldn't have been. He wouldn't have been scared to touch Kevin Durant. Stop it. That motherfucker don't defend. Y'all forgot Kyle Kuzma pushing him out to defend. At this point in his career, he don't defend. He defending spots. That's it. And I never liked his competitive motor. You know what I'm saying? Anytime the going got tough and somebody started getting in his ass and they punk him back, he folded up like a bitch. Look at the finals with Durant. Golden State. Look here, man. I don't even want to make this about this before I get off. Golden State wasn't an unstoppable team. Had Kyrie played defense, had LeBron played defense, had Kevin Love been able to anchor the defense like Chris Bosh did in Miami, they probably would have beat Golden State. Golden State just wasn't blowing them out like they was predicted, like how it looked being 4-0 or 4-1. LeBron, they weren't locking up their matchups. All you gotta do is defend. Till that Blake Griffin where he was at. Yep. And then they don't get Kawhi Leonard or Paul George neither. But Cassius Winston, like I said before, he good. I mean, he's a solid college player, but I see him being more Martine Cleaves than and Trey Burton more than being a great pro. So just keeping it real on that one. That Rocket Watts guy probably gonna be a better pro than he is. But who knows? He got a lot of heart, a lot of determination. It was sad to happen to his brother, man. That's made me shed a tear. But he definitely got point guard skills. You know, he definitely could facilitate, get to the rack. Got to probably just work on, shooting and being a better defensive player because at this level, these point guards, they crazy. But you said how many point guards play defense? Shit, not too many, man. Russ play defense when he want to. But that was the beauty about Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was used to guard Kobe when they met in the playoffs, and Jason Kidd was one of the best guards because he can defend. Isaiah can defend. When you started trying to put Stockton could defend a bit too. When you started to try to put Steph Curry in that class with those guys and Steve Nash, they can't be in that class. They don't have a point. We talking about point guard, not overall basketball player, point guards, facilitators. Those guys can give it to you how you want it. They can defend, they can facilitate, they can shoot, they can score. It's not a debate when you think about it. Between Steph Curry and Isaiah Thomas, it's not a debate. From a point guard aspect, it's not a debate. I don't care about your MVPs. It's not a debate. You put Steph Curry on the Pistons, will he be able to take them to the championship and lead them like Isaiah? No. Because in the finals, when the going got tough, once again, Steph Curry was nowhere to be found when the going got tough. Just bringing up facts. I thought Trey Brooks was gonna be real good. I was mad when the Pistons didn't take him. They took KCP, but they both won shit. So yeah, man. But yeah, man. Any more questions? I'll take them right now. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out. Make sure to hit the like button, man. Share the video for me, man. I appreciate the love. That's the best way to help out. Share the video. Any more questions in the chat? I definitely was gonna fit this in for y'all, bro. I definitely was gonna fit this stream in. I found the way to fit it in. Name your top defenders right now in the league. Go Bird, and it's going off the top. Kawhi, in no order. I'll probably say Kawhi number one. Go Bird. Who else you got out there? Those two that stick out, but it's more out there. Those are two that stick out. But it gotta be some more. A lot of dudes don't play defense no more. It's hard. It's a lot of teams. I'm gonna answer that last because y'all keep asking my answer. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler for sure. Paul George. So we're looking at the two-way. I'm trying to get another big guy. Embiid can defend a bit. You know what I'm saying? Giannis can defend a bit. So there's still some stars that defend. Those are kind of be the guys I'm thinking about that defend. As far as point guard to put in there, man, that's a tough one. Just to kind of just think about putting a guard in there. Anthony Davis could defend. I got to put him in there. I got to put Anthony Davis in there. It's quite a few. Draymond, not right. Draymond used to be, but this year, man, got me looking at Draymond funny. Jeremy Grant, that's a nice one. Patrick Beverly, of course. Yep, Patrick Beverly. Yep. I'm forgetting people. Him, like like Patrick Beverly. Um, John Wall probably was the best defender as point guard when he was healthy. John Wall probably the best defender at point guard. I gotta say that. Gotta say that when he healthy. Who the Pistons next GM should be? Chauncey Billups. If I had to give you a list, Chauncey. If I had to give you a real list, I'd probably go all out of the candidates that we talking about. Let's be realistic, because we're not gonna be Messiah Jerry Sam Presti or Jerry West or somebody like that. I'd go Chauncey, Shane Battier, Tayshaun Prince, Kevin Garnett, and I would probably go Malik Rose, just because he fit the bill. Those would probably be by the guys I look at. Oh, Lonzo, yeah, Lonzo for sure. I forget about Lonzo. Yeah, Lonzo for sure. Bam, yep, Bam, he in there. Yeah, some good defenders, and Bam a good. I love Bam game. Love to make Kentucky. Yep. Yeah, I love Lonzo. Chris Paul, yep, Chris Paul always been up there. You forget because he in Oklahoma City. Porzingis, I don't know about Porzingis. I really never looked at him as a defender, but he was had a good year this year when Luka wasn't on the floor. They started to gel at the end. I love Lonzo Ball. I was talking about trading for him last offseason, man, if y'all remember. But hey, I appreciate everybody for checking in. Yeah, make sure to hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Check the Piston 1-on-1 playlist for more Piston live streams when I do them. Obviously, the notification bell ain't working. I was trying to work with somebody to give me a mailing list when I go live. I send y'all the email ahead of time. We go live, and I put everybody on the mailing list. So Zion gonna be number one. Depends on how long he lasts in the game. But I do appreciate it, man. Keep sharing the videos. Don't forget, if you haven't checked out my other channel, Goodfellas Sports TV, do so. I do a lot of content over there.